Hey guys, welcome back to Honey Money SG, and this is the next episode of Talking to Myself. But today I don't feel like talking to myself, so let's just invite someone over. Hey, who are you?
I'm Kelvin from Kelvin Learns Investing.
Kelvin Learns Investing Wow, big round of applause for him. Thank you. Okay, so in all honesty, I invited Kelvin Learns Investing to my channel to actually poke his brains and also how to learn investing for you guys, right? Because I don't talk much about investing, and I'm here to learn investing from Kelvin.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
Okay,
I like your channel.
For those who have never heard of Kelvin, he's one of the highest viewed YouTuber in Singapore in the finance space. So really go and subscribe to his channel. He's close to 60k subs, and he publishes a lot of video on investing, beginner stuff, option stuff, and how to save money, which is also aligned to what my channel is all about, right? So do check out his channel. So with that first question, I want to ask Kelvin, right? For those people who don't really know about you, you are actually a Malaysian who have come to work in Singapore, and I want to ask, why did you come to Singapore?
Actually, I didn't come here to work. I came here to study right after my A-levels. As to why I came here, I think there's no good reason. I came here because my friends came here. Yeah, because the time there were universities from Singapore that came to my school. They'd be like, so you guys want to come? They'd be like, okay. So that's how I landed here. But as to why Singapore, I think the easiest answer is because of money. Because of the power of Singapore dollars. You think of it like I'm immigrant, I'm the immigrant going to US. Then they are in the boat and they see US, the Statue of Liberty. Then they are like, America. So that was the feeling I had when I first reached Singapore. I see the ICA and like Singapore. So I've been here since 14 years ago, all the way until now. So yeah, so that's how I appear here.
So how do you love it here so far in Singapore?
Singapore is small, it's easy to travel around. So even if I've Chris Money invited me over, I can just take a train, arrive in 20-30 minutes. But if in Malaysia, if the guy is in KL, I'm in Ipoh, I have to travel for 3 hours. So here is very convenient and the food are good, but I think Malaysia food is better.
I actually agree.
So that's what I like about Singapore.
Okay, so can you talk about some of the opportunities that you had in Singapore that may not be available to you as a Malaysian back in your home country?
I think it all boils down to cost savings. So as for example, if I graduate in Malaysia, let's say if I get a 4k pay versus Singapore, I graduate with a 4k pay. But in Malaysia, I have to buy a car, I have to rent a house, and even for internet, it costs 100 plus for a few Mbps plan. So I can save more money in Singapore compared to Malaysia. And the food in Singapore is actually cheaper than in Malaysia.
Agreed.
Yeah, because there's coffee shops and whatever.
Yeah.
And I get to meet many different kind of people in Singapore because in a way Singapore attracts talents. I'm not saying I'm a talent, but it attracts people. But it attracts people from everywhere. So I get to meet different kind of people in university, at work. Even for YouTube, I wouldn't have appeared here if I had not come to Singapore. Yeah, so it's opportunities and cost savings. Yeah.
So Kelvin, I'm interested to find out which is your most popular video that earned you the most money on your channel.
Wow, kaypoh but I think it's the video that has 7 income sources where it gives me $20,000 a month. And not only that, I like the video a lot because it serves as a milestone for me to look back in the future. And also I hope that it will be an inspiration for you guys so that you won't only rely on one income source in the future, and you can actually have more than just one.
So for those people who have not checked out his 20k per month video, I'll link it up here so you can go and learn on what are your multiple income streams that can enable you to go for financial freedom. Okay, next question. When did you first realize you were famous?
Well, I think it was somewhere this year when I was walking around at my house, outside my house. Then there's this guy who is like, hey Kelvin. Then because he's wearing a mask, so I thought it was someone I know. But it turns out he said, oh, I'm your subscriber. They're like, oh, okay. So I didn't know how to react at that time. Even till now, I find it a bit awkward when people recognize me on the street. Like for example, a few weeks ago when I was buying breakfast at the market so there was this auntie. She recognized my voice when I say 我要菜头粿. Then she's like, 你是 Kelvin right? Yeah, so I
That's
didn't know how
awesome,
to answer lah. So yeah, that's when I realized I was a bit more famous than previously.
That's so cool. So do they like request photos with you, like to put on their Instagram and hashtag? Hey, I got a photo with Kelvin Learns Investing.
No lah, no, I'm not that famous. No one asked me for a photo. Yeah, it's just a hi bye kind of thing. So far.
I see.
Yeah.
We'll get there one day lah. When people ask you all for a photo, you all know that you have made it. Okay, so just want to poke into your brain on what is your current strategy regarding stocks investing and also maybe a bit of options.
So for now, my strategy is a very concentrated strategy lah, where I just dollar cost average into just Tesla if you follow my channel. So right now it's just keep buying Tesla every month. But since the early of this year, I started options trading where I sell puts and sell calls on my portfolio to generate extra income. And recently I've fine-tuned it to avoid getting caught away or getting exercise on my options. So I'm still trying to improve on that strategy lah. Once I am familiar with that, I will try to go into deeper options strategies. And besides options, I'm also looking deeper into cryptos nowadays. It's not only the specific cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I feel those are the surface level view of cryptos. If you look deeper, there's play to earn games, there's liquidity mining, lending, staking, all the DeFi stuff. So it's a rabbit hole and I intend to go deeper into this rabbit hole. Yeah, just because I'm a programmer and I find it fascinating. And there's money to be made there.
Where all the money is. Okay, next one is a Kepo question as well. Why do you follow Chicken Genius so much?
I think it's like those, when you read the 金庸武侠小说, where this main character, he has a lot of 师傅, or the master where he learned from. I think Chicken Genius is one of my latest masters. Before that, I learned from like Graham Stephan. Before that, there were some pros from Investing Note, which is a forum where you discuss about Singapore stocks. Every few years, I will have different masters. So and just so happens Chicken Genius is the latest guy and I learned a lot from him, like investing in Tesla, investing in cryptos, those kind of stuff. That's one thing I need to be careful of, is not to follow him too much because I have to do my own due diligence basically. I'm still looking out for new masters to follow and to hopefully learn from them.
Okay, this question specific by Bunti. So what do you think of Chicken Genius' recent strategy of rolling selling puts on Tesla?
Actually, it's a very clever strategy. First is because he knows about Tesla's fundamental. Then he combined it with his stock chart reading strategy. For me, I because I don't know how to read stock charts, so I will just anyhow sell at any price that I like. But for him, he knows how to see when it's the bottom, when it's the top. So he can time it almost perfectly to sell options at the best price possible. And of course, he can do it because he has the capital. Like recently, he threw in like $500,000 into Tesla. And I think most people won't have that kind of FU money, me included. So yeah, I think it's a clever strategy and I can learn from it.
Sure. Okay, so for those who are curious on his property, so I want to ask, what property are you staying in right now and any plans to actually buy like a new property to live in future?
So I bought a 4-room HDB resale flat about 4 years ago. And the reason I chose that is because it's family planning. I plan to have 2 kids. So it's a 4-room. As to whether I will plan to upgrade in the future, that's one hobby of mine where I always look at property Lim's brothers where they introduce different kind of properties like condo, landed property. It's not because I want to buy those properties. I think it's because I want it to be an inspiration that I can afford those properties in the future. Not necessary to buy it, just as an inspiration. So that, wow, it will be mine one day. But as to whether I will upgrade or not, this one I don't have the answer to it. Because I don't see the point to upgrade my HDB currently. My priority is more on achieving my financial independence first. Then after that, let's see what happens.
Follow-up question to this property, right? Because property prices over at Malaysia is really significantly cheaper. Any thoughts on retiring in Malaysia to actually get that dream house that you're looking for, or just stay put in Singapore all the way?
Yeah, this question I've been thinking for a very long time. And recently I converted to become a Singaporean. That sort of sealed out my fate in Singapore, but it's not necessarily going back to Malaysia during old age lah. Like I see a lot of people say, "Wow, you earn a lot of money in Singapore, 3 times lah. Go back Malaysia, you'll be rich ah." But you have to think that I've been here for almost half of my life. My family are here, and even if I go back during retirement, I basically have no one else left in Malaysia. And I've already gotten to used to the life here lah. I'm sort of an adventurous person. Like, why do I need to go back to Malaysia when I can go retire in Japan, retire in Finland, or anywhere else lah? So I don't want to limit myself to just Malaysia because I've already been there. So let's explore other places lor.
So I'm interested to also know what is your current strategy towards crypto. What coins are you holding and what are you intending to do in the next year, coming few years?
So currently I have 4 main cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana. Basically the top few cryptos lah. After I bought them, I transferred them over to a staking or lending platform. Then besides the main cryptos, I'm also putting my money into something called Anchor Protocol, where I earn 19% interest on it. A few months ago, I started investing into SC Infinity, where I use my money to buy a team and hire people to play for me, which they call scholars lah. I think the ROI is not bad because basically I'm buying someone's time, so it's much higher than the interest which I can get from like Bitcoin, Ethereum. But because it's a game, all games have a lifespan, so I have to continue monitoring this SC Infinity thing and possibly look out for any other new games that I can try out. And I've been slowly looking into DeFi space like Uniswap, liquidity mining, those kind of things lah. But I haven't researched too deep into it yet, so that's something to do next year. So those were all my crypto strategies going forward lah.
So for my viewers who are interested in CPF, want to know what is your current strategy towards CPF and retirement planning?
Okay, for my CPF, I don't really touch it. I'm just using it to pay for my house installment. Recently, I lost my job, so no one is contributing to my CPF anymore. Even if I'm self-employed, right, I'm not required to top up to my CPF other than the MediSave. Basically, I'm trying to research how I can try to save on my taxes while maximizing my returns using my cash at the same time. My current thought is that I don't top up to my CPF other than for house installment because I believe I can get a higher return from elsewhere doing my own investment.
Okay, what are your honest thoughts about Robo Advisors?
No. I think you can compare Robo Advisor to a 3-wheel bicycle, then stock picking to a 2-wheel bicycle, or even driving a car. So if you are new to investing, you don't straight away go to drive a car if you're not confident lah. In that case, you can go ride a 3-wheel bicycle lah, because there's a Robo Advisor fund manager that's managing everything for you. All you need to do is pick your portfolio and how much you want to invest every month. And basically that's it lah. You don't even need to think how to manage your portfolio. Robo Advisor has that kind of benefit compared to stock picking. But because if you look into a Robo Advisor's portfolio, it has a lot of ETFs or mutual funds in some case. And because ETFs has so many stocks, the return that you will get will be definitely much lower compared to stock picking by yourself. But of course, if you're stock picking like it's very lousy, you'll get a lower return than a Robo Advisor. But if you're confident in stock picking, just go for stock picking by yourself. Otherwise, just use a Robo Advisor. At least get started on investing rather than putting your money in some bank account earning a lame 0.5% interest.
Okay, so what is your current FIRE plan, financial independence, retire early, and maybe some thoughts on your retirement life?
So 2 years ago, before I started this whole YouTube thing, my plan was to achieve financial independence, retire early by 45 years old. The amount was $1 million. But after I started this whole YouTube thing, because of the income from YouTube, which is slightly higher than my day job, and because of the returns and the things that I learned from investing, I realized that I could achieve that goal within 2 to 3 years' time. So I brought forward that goal by 7 years, I think, which is not easy.
7 years is a lot.
But the journey was painful actually.
Of course.
As to what I would do after retiring, initially I thought of starting a game company because I was a programmer. But after starting this whole YouTube thing, I realized I like YouTube much more than sitting at the computer making games. As of right now, if I ever were to achieve that kind of goal, I would really try to travel around the world, become a digital nomad while making YouTube videos at the same time, which is actually what Chicken Genius was doing. He had already achieved his goal and he's living his life lor. But then I realized it's not that easy because I have a kid now. How to travel around, I think it's still possible. I just need to see how to make it work lor.
So my follow-up question on that is that with a kid and a wife, right, how are you just managing your YouTube activities compared to previously having a day job?
So last time I used to wake up at 6 a.m. to do my YouTube stuff, work until 8 a.m, start my day job all the way until night. Then go back to doing YouTube until I sleep. And my wife was complaining that there's no family time. So when I lost my job, I had only YouTube to concentrate on. So in the evenings, I had more time to spend with them. I regained my health because I have more sleep nowadays. So I feel less stressed out nowadays compared to that time.
Okay, so these are the main questions I prepared for Kelvin, but now let's ask him some quick fire questions that he have not prepared for. Okay, number one, what is your favorite non-finance YouTube channel and explain why you love it?
There's this channel called Johnny Harris, where this guy looks at maps. So he looks at what's happening in each area, like why the border is so weird, or like why North Korea and South Korea is happening the way it is, or like the recent Taliban thing, what is going on there. So I think his channel, he's exploring all the different lives from all around the world, and I find it's very interesting.
So Kelvin, what is your new area of focus that you're putting extra emphasis on in your life that is non-finance?
I think it's my kid lah. I think of raising a kid like playing the Digimon, where you try to raise the kid without damaging it. So that's what I'm trying to do every day, spend time with the kid. Because if you have a kid, right, you see the difference in change happening very fast. Like from the first month, she doesn't know how to move. Then maybe on the 4th month, she'll start rolling around. And after that, she'll start crawling. And recently, my kid started walking, all in a 1 year span lah. And I think the growth is very tremendous. And I'm trying to keep up with her every day. So that's my new focus, to try to grow together with her.
Okay, last question, very important question. Personal advice to your 20-year-old self.
So actually my 20-year-old self was a bit lost in a way. And I think most people will feel the same too lah. We have grown from 1-year-old all the way to 20 plus, listening to the advice of our parents and our teachers. Like, you have to study hard, go to school, you have to get your grades so that you can get a good job and maybe retire in your 60s, right? But once I graduated and I got my work and I like, wow, I will do this for 40 years. That time I was just simply doing my stuff, flowing along in life. If I found a job, oh yeah, just do the job lor. If I lost the job, just find a new job lor. Basically, it was, if the life felt very aimless in a way. But of course, on the side, I did some side projects lah, which didn't turn out quite well. Anyway, what I'm saying is, you will feel lost, and it's okay to feel lost. Just continue along the path that you think is alright, but try to think what you want in life lah. Because from 20 to 80 years old is actually quite short, even though you think that it's long lah, because things will happen along the way. So try to think what you want in life, and not just flow along, because life is short lah.
It is. So thank you, Kelvin, for your time, having to be interviewed by me and also having this content, valuable content to my viewers as well. So if you have not subscribed to Kelvin, I'll link his channel over here. Go and subscribe to him and let him be the leading finance YouTuber of Singapore. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG. This is
Kelvin Learns Investing.
And wishing you a happy new year. Okay.